Somebody says, hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it. That's what living united feels like to me. My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
It's time to get back to the issues that matter. Let's get back to the Roland Martin Show.
Therefore, I visited them. Did you hear what I said? New York to Boston, where I was living, and came in our little house and met my little raggedy children. Don't nobody tell us to lay down when God has poured the poverty scream when they saw us. I don't know where that came from. But we were poor, man, we were poor. And Ali came in our home.
I'm not editing it, y'all.
My sons,
this is
my
the live
daughters.
stream. It's skipping.
It was.
See?
When he throw that jab and bring it back, and then that right, and then that hook, it's all over, baby. Ali was our man.
That's the live stream. That's how it's recorded. Like I'm sitting there editing.
Ali loved black people. He would come out in the street and draw a crowd and shadow box with the people. They never had no champ like that. That's because of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he had a heart like that. Ali, when he got his first limousine, he said, jump in, Brother Lewis. Took me for a ride from New York to Boston, where I was living, and came in our little house and met my little raggedy children. We were so poor that poverty screamed when they saw us. I don't know where that came from. But we were poor, man, we were poor. And Ali came in our home, my sons, my daughters. It was really a love affair, but it wasn't just us, it was anybody in the nation and out of the nation. Ali was that kind of beautiful human being, but he was not married. And he went to the University of Islam, and there was Belinda, who later became Khalila Ali. Oh man, she lit him up. He saw this pretty looking girl. He wasn't married, but she said something to him that shook him. He said, I don't like no man that wearing the slave master name. Shortly thereafter, the messenger gave him a name. White folk, you in your media trying to say, he took a name. He didn't have sense enough to take a name. He was given a name and he accepted that name. From the time that he became Muhammad Ali, the whole world opened up to our brother. In Islam, we don't have a lot of boxing in the Muslim world because our Quran teaches us that this is a world of sport and play. But Ali was like no other. He was a Muslim. He had a Muslim name. He was clean cut. The Muslim world accepted him. He went to Africa. He met with President of Egypt, and the president gave him a gold mosque to give to Elijah Muhammad. When he came back from overseas, I think it was in June of 1964, he presented Elijah Muhammad with that golden mosque. Ali was our champion now. And in Esquire magazine, there's a picture of Ali with arrows sticking in him all over his body, arrows that white folk were shooting at him because they never met a black man like that. And if you listen to his interviews with some of the brightest and the best, he handcuffed them. This ain't just a dumb boxer that all he know how to do is fight. This is an intelligent thinker. So what Minister Rahman told you today, when they wanted to put him in the army, and he said he wasn't going. Now that's a bold step. But that's not his step alone. Fella on Fox News. He was one of many that told the enemy, Riley, you can't send us 9,000 miles to kill some poor people in Vietnam, and we're dying in America on the streets from police bullets and Ku Klux Klan and hangings and lynchings and burning. Hell no, I'm not going over there and fight. My fight is right here. And that's what Ali said. My fight is right here with you. You are my enemy. Now, brothers and sisters, that was strong, that was bold, but it was right. And when they told him he had 5 years in jail, and he appealed, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court. And at that time, they took his title, stripped him. He couldn't fight. Elijah Muhammad took him, taught him, put him out as a minister in the nation. He toured teaching in colleges and universities all around this nation. And the honorariums that he got enabled him to live. This low-down Caucasian fella on Fox News. What's that boy name? Who? Oh, yeah, Bill O'Reilly. He said the Muslims took Ali's money. Boy, I mean, can you imagine a thief that robbed the whole damn world telling some black people what they took, and we as a nation, they took us? You're looking at a world robber. So whatever you stole, man, that's punk stuff. There's a man take countries. So your little robbery days is petty stuff. But we didn't take nothing from Ali. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad supported him during his time out of boxing. And Ali really was a great speaker, man. And then in 1969, he fell out of the good graces of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because the moment the white man said that he was exonerated and the Supreme Court said that he was indeed a conscientious objector. How many of you heard of Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? All of them came to Ali's defense. That shocked white folk, that black folk that earned money from them would stand up for Ali.
Got to pay some bills. I'll do so when we come back on the Roland Martin Show.
Call 844-736-7474 and talk to Roland Martin next. We'll be back.
This is the news. This morning, we are saluting the 2.2 million women who have joined in the war effort. They now make up 37% of the workforce, changing their role forever.
The prestigious Harvard Medical School is breaking ground today, opening its doors to new female applicants.
Today, little girls all over the world look to the sky, where the first woman is now in space.
Military stereotypes are challenged today with the trailblazing promotion of a U.S. female officer to 4-star general. It was just announced that the vast majority of last year's doctorate degrees were earned by women.
We've come so far, but our news is changing for the worse. More women die from heart disease and stroke than men, even though it can be prevented. Make a change at goredforwomen.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women.
It's time to get back to the issues that matter. Let's get back to the Roland Martin Show.
Can you see it clearly? Ali was winning all the time. He kept his faith. He kept his views. But then when he had a chance to make money, he said, I'm sitting at the table. When I go back in the ring, I'm not going back in the ring for the ring. I'm going back in the ring for the money. When he said that, it was like an insult to Master Farrakhan Muhammad and his promise to us. And if you ever want to get the anger of Elijah Muhammad, disrespect his teacher. So I was invited out to Chicago. And I'm sitting at the table with Elijah Muhammad. And the Muhammad Speaks newspaper is going to come out in a few days with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad rebuking Muhammad Ali, taking back the name Muhammad Ali, putting him out of the nation for 1 year. And Elijah Muhammad sent for me. And I'm sitting at the table, and they are reading a clarification of action taken by Messenger Muhammad against Muhammad Ali's action. What was Muhammad Ali's action? He was going to leave the pulpit and go fight for money. And for that, he was rebuked. I'm sitting at the table, and Ali is like all up in my heart, man. When he got married to Belinda, or Kalila. He was in New York. He spent part of the honeymoon in New York with my family. We took him out on a boat in New York Harbor and rode around with him and his beloved Kalila. This is my experience with our champ. The second fight that he was going to fight, Liston again, the fight was to take place in Boston at the Boston Garden. Ali was there. His wife, Sanji, was there. She was his first wife. And she was staying in my little house in Boston. All of a sudden, Ali gets a hernia. And on the night that he gets a hernia, Donna, my beloved daughter, was told by the mother who was away from the house for a moment, don't bother with that stove. She was going to go make something. And little Mustafa Wallace, he was 3 years old at the time, and she was boiling the water. And all of a sudden, the thing spilled over and hit my son, all down his leg, skin peeling. They grabbed Mustafa and rushed him to the hospital. And while he's going in the hospital, Muhammad Ali is going in too, same time, for the hernia. So here's Mustafa and the champ. And the champ would come and visit Mustafa. So they got out of the hospital, but the fight was postponed. And the next time they fought, it was up in Lewiston, Maine. And I was up there with my brother in Maine. You know, that's really what. From my left jab, what's my name? Lee. This is the Ali that I'm in love with. This is the Ali that suffered to wear that name. You can now call your son Kareem or Hassan or Rashid, and you don't have to pay a price because Ali paid it for us all. Suffering of our people. He wanted me to recite to him the history of black suffering so that when he went in the ring, he would have the right kind of mind to knock out any. We did not want him to fight anymore. Elijah Muhammad told him, Elijah Muhammad told him, you fought everybody that they put in front of you, and you've beaten them all. Don't go back in the ring anymore. When he went back to fighting, these are the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Muhammad Ali decided to go with the white man as soon as he found that they had deferred him from going to the. What's my name? And because Ali,
I don't know why the fee is skipping. Sorry.
To wear that name, you can now call your son Kareem or Hassan or Rashid. And you don't have to pay a price because Ali paid it for us all. Now, in '69, when Elijah Muhammad took his name, he went back in the ring and he fought Joe Frazier, because he always felt that Joe Frazier was the fake champ and he was the real champ. And when Ali was in the ring with Frazier, he kept playing with Frazier. Frazier was no man to play with. He would tap him up with that jab and dance out of the way, tap him some more. But Frazier was smoking and poking. Of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And knocked him down, and he lost that championship, that fight for the championship. And then George Foreman fought Frazier and beat him up so bad in the ring. I mean, if you saw that fight, it was like Frazier was being bounced. He was almost like you see Curry with that basketball. That's the way Foreman was hitting that man in the head and dropping him down, and he kept getting up and he would beat him down again. Foreman was no joke. Now, '69 is when the messenger put him out for a year. He came back into the good graces of his teacher, but his teacher knew he was going to fight on. Gave him back his name, and Ali kept fighting. And if you notice, before they took his title, nobody hardly hit him. He could fight. And at the end of the fight, he said, "Look at me, ain't I pretty?"
Going to a break. More of Louis Farrakhan discussing Muhammad Ali on the Roland Martin Show.
Call 844-736-7474 and talk to Roland Martin next. We'll be back.
We got adopted. Over the years, I came to know the full story, but really happened. And she had since she was 17. I know that she wanted us to have a better life. The way she saw things going, it wasn't a good environment to raise a kid. The fact that she did that just shows how strong of a woman my mother is. To just be given a chance to be who she wanted us to be, it's just a new thought. And I thank her each and every day for it. I wouldn't be the person who I am today. And I like the person I am today. I've learned that love is what makes people who they are. I've learned that love helps you make the hard decisions. Without love, you can't know nurturing. And without nurturing, you can't grow. And I knew I was loved and I was part of a family, so that was what's important to me.
For more information, visit iChooseAdoption.org.
I'm Christoph, and I'm Christopher, and our mom chose adoption.
Can you tell if the surfaces in this kitchen are crawling with bacteria that could cause chronic arthritis? Listen. Yeah, can you? Can't see it either. Wash surfaces, utensils, and hands frequently with soapy water while preparing food, especially when handling raw meats or eggs. Raw food may contain bacteria that can make you very sick, or worse. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year, and roughly 3,000 will die. But you can keep your family safer by cleaning with soap and water as you go. Learn more about this and other important information. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov. That's foodsafety.gov. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
It's time to get back to the issues that matter. Let's get back to the Roland Martin Show.
No scratch, no nothing. He was a master in that ring. And all the people that were around him, they were special. Captain Sam was one, that's Brother Rahman. And there was Boudini Brown. Now, Boudini was a real spiritual giant in my eyes. Cried all the time. And there was Lana Shabazz, his cook. And he had a great team around him. And then he fought on till Spinks beat him. The odds were 40-1 that Spinks was gone. And under normal circumstances, Spinks wouldn't stand a chance. But that night, he whooped Ali and cooked the jam. Now, 69 is when the messenger put him out for a year. He came back into the good graces of his teacher, but his teacher knew he was going to fight on. Gave him back his name, and Ali kept fighting. And if you notice, before they took his title, nobody hardly hit him. He could fight. And at the end of the fight, he said, "Look at me, ain't I pretty?" No scratch, no nothing. He was a master in that ring. And all the people that were around him, they were special. Captain Sam was one, that's Brother Rahman. And there was Boudini Brown. Now, Boudini was a real spiritual giant in my eyes. Cried all the time. And there was Lana Shabazz, his cook. And he had a great team around him. And then he fought on till Spinks beat him. The odds were 40-1 that Spinks was gone. And under normal circumstances, Spinks wouldn't stand a chance. But that night, he whooped Ali and took the championship. Stevie Wonder was so upset, he called me in New York. He said, Farrakhan, what happened? Ali lost the championship. He was really sad. And those of us who love Ali, we love us some Ali. In fact, I would go to his sparring sessions and get mad with his brother Rahman, who was his sparring partner, thinking he's hitting the champ too hard. You know, what the hell you doing? Don't hit my man like that. But Ali never retaliated because he was there to take punishment to get ready for a big fight. And his brother was right there with him all the time, Rahman Ali. Now, I want to bring this talk to a close, but it's such a painful time in his life and in our life, because now the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was gone. Once the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was gone, within 6 months, in this house, in that school, his picture had come down off the wall. Sisters that used to dress like this took their garments off, some of them threw them in the wastebasket. I stood right at this rostrum in July of 1975. And I said, what's wrong with you people? You can't mention Elijah Muhammad's name when everything we got it from him? Now, you got to understand something about hypocrisy and the game of the CIA and the FBI. The aim of the enemy is to turn you from what you believe and make you into something that they can accept. I was offered millions of dollars. Brother Akbar, stand up a minute, my brother. My faithful friend and companion for nearly 50 years. When we started rebuilding this work, he was the first. After Jabril and Brother Wahid. Stand up, Brother Wahid. In fact, come on out here, let me look at you. Come on up, Akbar. I want to show you how all this got started. After Jabril brought me a book that woke me up, because I too had rejected believing in Elijah Muhammad as the messenger of God and Master Farrakhan Muhammad as Al-Mahdi, God in person. I had turned from that belief, but I still love the two of them because without the two of them, I would not know what I came into the knowledge of. So on the third day in a Hollywood, I was reading the writing of Jibreel. Notice the name, Jibreel. And what was the first command that the God gave Muhammad? What was it? I was reading. And the man that gave me something to read was Brother Jibreel. And after 3 days, he came back and knocked on the door to the room. And these are the words that I said to him. Brother, your eye operation has been a great success. The scales have been removed from my eyes. And I was crying because I used to brag on Elijah Muhammad and fight anybody that asked about, is he the messenger of God? And I beat all my opponents. But now I had turned away. Not even to talk about it. And when Jibreel saw me crying, he went to comfort me. I said, don't you put your hands on me. I don't need no comfort. I turned hypocrite on my messenger. First thing you got to do is be honest with yourself. I turned away from the man that made me a man. But what I didn't tell you was when Elijah Muhammad was beating up Ali, I was sitting right next to him, and it looked like everything he hit Ali with, it was hurting me, hurting me, hurting me, hurting me. And when he finished, he looked at me and said, I did that for you, brother. I never understood those words until 3 days ago. I want to share with you what God helped me to see. Look, allow me to break down. I wiped my eyes. Jibreel said to me, Brother Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad is not dead. And I looked at him like he was a little off, you know.
Now, folks, the reason I'm playing this is because, again, Malcolm X, it's not Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali became Muhammad Ali because of the Nation of Islam. And so why not get a different understanding of what that relationship was? Stuff that we had not heard before in another public forum. Gonna go to a break. I'll play more of this when we come back on the Roland Martin Show. Yo, I'm in a commercial break.
I'm going to go back in the show business. I'm not going to bother with teaching no more. My friend out there, his name is Brock Peters, great movie actor, singer, entertainer. He introduced me to a man named Coleridge Taylor Perkinson. He was a great pianist, conductor. And he said, Coleridge, take him into the studio and see if he got anything left. Now I'm 42 at that time. I go in the studio, pick up my violin. I don't know what was coming out. And he said, well, let's sing a few things. I couldn't sing no more. Allah took away from me my gift, because if I still had it, I'd have gone back to show business like Ali went back to boxing. He said, I did that for you. Why me? Why would you take my brother down, take his name, rebuke him, and then tell me you doing that for me? Because you going in the same path of Ali. And I want you to learn from his mistake, because if you learn from his mistake, you'll be the perfected representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Are y'all reading the Bible, reading about Peter, reading about Jesus, reading about Paul? You don't know what the hell you're reading. It's not yesterday. It's today that Jesus lives. And today, Jesus is walking among us. My pastor friends, you talk Jesus. Jesus was no white man. The white man gave you his version of Jesus, and just like he's done to every great one, he doctors them, he corrupts their image, he corrupts their message, and then he gives them to the people. When if you knew Jesus, you would be a revolutionary today like Jesus was 2,000 years ago. But you got a Jesus that you make a punk out of him with the way you represent some milquetoast man. Sisters, Jesus didn't have no women around him with no damn miniskirt. You go into church with a miniskirt on, sit down, and your dress is so short, the preacher got to look up. Because if he look down, God only knows what he gonna see. And he may throw his Bible away. Cover yourself. If you really love Jesus, then walk like the women that walked with Jesus. Even whores. Even prostitutes walk with Jesus, but he cleaned them up.
Folks, this is Minister Farrakhan's speech on yesterday in Chicago, sharing his thoughts and perspective on the life and legacy of Muhammad Ali. As I said, there were a number of people not happy. Not happy at all. Not happy at all with the exclusion of the Nation of Islam from the memorial service on Friday. And in essence, this was Mr. Farrakhan's opportunity to share his thoughts with the public. To the phone lines, Robert Goodman in South Carolina. You're on the Roland Martin Show. Hey, Robert.
Pardon, how are you, sir?
Great.
Good, good. Listen, first I want to just thank you. I want to thank you for all that you do to keep us so well informed. And just keep doing what you do. We all appreciate it. Secondly, regarding the shooting, let me say this. First and foremost, we first must put aside, we have to put aside whatever these individuals' personal preferences were, and keep in mind that we all should be saddened and greatly disturbed by the fact that so many sons and daughters lost their lives for no other reason than pure evil and foolishness, as you said. But the thing that people have to remember, when we look at all the violence that we are witnessing and all the hatred that we are witnessing in this country now, they're not just reflections of biblical prophecy, as so many people have stated. It's important for us to remember that even going back to the very foundation of this country, we're looking at a nation that was built primarily on evil, lies, violence, cruelty. So what we're seeing now, in my opinion, are basically the result of very well learned and very well taught behavior. And I think that until we, as Black and white Americans, put these things in perspective, when it comes to the violence and the hatred and the racism and the cruelty in this nation, until we put things in perspective, then not only are these behaviors going to continue, but we are going to continue going back and forth trying to find other causes when the real cause is right in front of us, like the writing on the wall. You can't expect much more from a nation that was built on these same behaviors unrepentantly, and think that now, these many years later, that things are supposed to be different. It never stopped being the way it was. America never stopped being America from the beginning. The violence and the hatred and the racism never stopped from the moment this nation came into being a nation. So I think that we as a people, not only Black Americans, but all of us, until we sit down individually and collectively and start to think about the fact that America has to change from its original foundation. How that's going to happen, I really have no idea. But I truly believe that until it does, until we realize and stop ignoring the fact that these things have not changed. You know, people will argue that some things have changed, but certainly there are some things that have changed, but not enough that we are to forget and ignore the very foundation that this country is built on, because we're seeing the results of that same mentality today.
Okay. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much.
All right. Thank you.
All right, folks. Folks, it is quite unfortunate that we laid Muhammad Ali to rest on Friday, and just 2 days ago having a discussion about a Muslim killing 49 people at a gay nightclub in Orlando. We go from the best to the worst. It's amazing how those things happen on the same weekend. We will continue to cover Orlando. We will continue to pay tribute to Muhammad Ali. And I look forward to having Ishmael Reed on the show discussing his book on Muhammad Ali. Folks, you have a great day. I will see you tomorrow right here on the Roland Martin Show. Peace out, my people.
Right now, federal officials tell NBC News that the shooter, Omar Mateen, visited Saudi Arabia twice, once in 2011, once in 2012. Just a short time ago, President Obama and FBI Director James Comey talked about the investigation, comparing the shooting here to the lone wolf attack that ended with 14 dead in San Bernardino.
It does appear that at the last minute, he announced allegiance to ISIL, but there's no evidence so far that he was in fact directed by ISIL. There also at this stage is no direct evidence that he was part of a larger plot.
Is that right?